Hey guys, this is Illusion PODFIC, and today we're going to be reading A Personal Guide with a Lot of Shit Happening to Learning How to Be Siblings Again by Damian Wayne by Shromo 3. This is Chapter 3. Duke was confused, to say the least. When he walked into Wayne Manor after a time away, Dick was talking with Jason, hands on his hip like a mother scolding her child. It almost made him laugh. Keyword, almost. He knew better than that. As soon as he walks in, Tim is in front of him. Duke! He says, sliding to a stop, "Have you seen the demon child?" The demon child? You mean Damon, right? Not an actual demon baby, right? Tim makes a face at him and then just nods. "I mean the baby bat." "No, I haven't been in Gotham for about a month. Why?" "Shit," Tim shouts, turning to Dick. Dick, he hasn't seen him either. It was then that Duke realizes that they had a situation on their hands. A situation involving Damian. A situation involving Damian? Shit, Dick shouts. "God damn it, Jason, where did he go?" "I don't know. I don't." "You don't understand anything. It's not like I'm going to know." "Then explain. You two are acting weird. I know you don't know each other all that well, but then after patrol, I've known him since he was a baby. You know nothing about us. You know nothing about him." There's silence. Duke feels like maybe he's watching something he shouldn't. He hasn't been here for a long time so far, and they are clearly welcoming him into a family, but this feels personal. Stuff that maybe he's not meant to know yet. A secret muttered aloud, a secret he shouldn't have heard. Although it seems like everyone feels like that, even Jason himself. Dick is, well, he's upset. Tim can see that. Tim himself is upset, but Jason, God, Jason is upset. His eyes are bright green. Jason is normally angry. His eyes always typically shine with some kind of green hue, but they are bright. "You don't know anything, Dick," he yells again. "Then tell me, tell us. We want to know. God. You can't just leave us in the dark and expect us to understand Jason. We're all worried about him. Clearly you want to tell us something, so just say it." Jason stays silent. Dick takes that for what it is. "I'm not talking about it. Not to you, not to anyone." Yet he was so tired of that. "You know what, Jason? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that when you were younger, I wasn't the brother you needed. I was angry. I was angry at the world. I was angry with Bruce. I took it on at you because I had nothing else to do with that anger. I'm sorry. When you came back, I thought, hey, this is your chance to make up for everything. Then you came back different. I understand why. I thought, he's been through so much. I can't blame him for hating me. But you can't just shut us all out just because you're angry at me." "Dick, relax," Tim says, stepping in. "You can't be angry with him for not wanting to talk about this shit. I haven't talked about everything that's happened to me. I would prefer never to talk about it, but I agree, it's not healthy to just bottle this up, Jason. But we need to know. We need to understand about everything, to understand if Damian is alright, and what happened." Jason doesn't want to say anything. He wanted to keep every memory he had with Damian to himself. Those were for him and Damian to sort through, not the whole family. The family that always seems to fail him, fail everyone. But then again, it was Tim. Tim would understand. Tim had understood. He thinks that Tim knew from the moment that Damian and him saw each other that they had known each other before. Before Damian had tried to kill him, before Jason came back. Damian was Jason's kid. Whether as a brother or father or whatever else, Damian was his kid. Tim knew that. Jason took a deep breath. "I'll tell you everything when we get Damian back, okay? Everything." Dick nodded. This he could agree to. This is the situation that he would let Jason run for a little while longer. Then the door opened and all hell let loose. Every single one of them had seen the header of the article. They didn't know who wrote the article, but all of them have seen it. Bruce slammed the door open wearing his Playboy outfit. Cass followed back from her mission, and after her was Steph. The others were too far over the world or just simply unable to head to the manor, but they all knew too. Bruce was fuming. You could tell by how he was walking. It was like steam was rolling off of him. "What happened?" he seethed. No one said anything. "I said what happened." He slammed his fist on the table, causing all of them to flinch. "We don't know," Jason snapped out. "He walked off and got taken, okay?" Bruce stood there quietly thinking, his son, the Damian Wayne, taken? Something must have happened. There's no way he was just taken, he said after a while. "Well, we're working on it, okay?" Jason said again. The two of them always butted heads no matter what. Even if it was something like this, the two of them couldn't seem to get their heads out of their asses and calm down. "Will you two just stop?" Tim snapped. Both Jason and Tim stared at him. Tim wasn't the one to normally get loud during their petty fights. Dick was. Dick, however, is fuming about his own issues. We get it. You're both angry at each other, blah blah blah. Shut up about it. Damian needs our help. He doesn't need you two fighting. Because what's that going to do? Nothing. Now if you're done, I'm going to go start trying to find my little brother. Tim stormed off down into the Batcave, and soon everyone else is following in general silence. Damian coughed when he heard the door crack open, the dust lifting from the movement. After a singular hour, he was blindfolded due to his trying to bite someone's hand off. They had never done anything more than hit him, though, which he found strange. He'd noticed many things now that the fog of the drugs had cleared. Many things that weren't good either. There were more people who had been here longer than him. But they don't talk to him. He hears them talk to each other as they pass by him. He can assume he's in some kind of separate room. He was moved after hour 2. He knows he still has a tracer in his arm, but if not turned on, then it will not alert the others. If it hasn't yet, and clearly it has not gone off, it means that he's somewhere underground. Deep underground. Damian Wayne. He heard a new voice speaking this time. He does not say anything in reply. It's your time to go up. The blindfold will be removed. He feels her shift forward, placing something on his neck. A shot collar? His turn to go up where? She removes his blindfold, and instantly he's blinded in the flood of lights he's met with. The hallway seems to contain more light than he first thought. She picks him up by his shoulders and pushes him along. He's still too dizzy to try anything, and he's partially blinded. He knows that it's not the right moment to strike. You'll be fighting during round 3. He's older than you by a lot. Probably 20, she muses to herself. Most bet against you, but me, however, she grins widely. I know who you are, Damian Wayne. I've seen you fight. Damian wondered through his dazed thoughts that if she meant she knew he was Robin, or if she simply knew of his past. He hopes that she just knows of the League and nothing more. He's shoved into a small hallway, and the door behind him closes. He cares to hear the loud cheers from outside, and then he learns what this says. Having found his voice, he turns to her. Is this a fight ring? She nods, not caring he spoke or not. Your round is coming up in an hour, she says and points to a bench, telling him to sit down. An hour passes and the door begins to slowly open. She stands next to him, leans in and whispers, It's a fight to the death. He shoves him into the ring, closes the door behind him. His heart begins beating faster. It's a fight to the death. It's the first time Damian was truly panicking. He could barely hear the announcer call for the fight to start. He doesn't have enough time to dodge the first hit. The older man rushes in and lands a solid blow to his stomach, causing him to fall to the ground. He feels a shock from his neck, telling him to get up again. And he stumbles blindly back to his feet. Again the man swings, and this time he dodges the hit, numbly stepping another step back and finding himself pinned against the wall suddenly. He can feel the man's hot breath on him. He breathes in loudly, almost like he's taking in Damian. You know, I think you'd be a fine prize to keep for myself. He grins, laughing. His brain was still slow. He hadn't known what that man had meant until he leaned in closer. Then Damian put 2 and 2 together. This ring had no rules. It was illegal. Anything that man did to him before he was dead was considered legal in the ring. This man could do anything he wanted to him until Damian was dead, bleeding out on the floor of this place. He shifted his hands to grab at Damian's waist. He could do anything he wanted if Damian didn't kill him first. His mind went fuzzy. He lifted his hands up to the man's head, and then, using all of his strength, he had snapped the man's neck. The man fell to the ground, and the whole ring went silent before breaking out into loud howls and cheers at Damian's victory. Damian just felt sick. Damian stumbled into the side room, and the same woman greeted him. She frowned at him. That wasn't showy enough, Robin. His head snapped up. She knew who he was. She fully knew who he was. Yes, I know who you are. Now, next time, if you don't make that a show, I'll be sending your whole family's identity out to everyone in Gotham City. Understand? He nodded immediately. She flicked his head. I wonder what we can make you do for us. Damian reached to attack almost instantly, and a whole round of shock spent through his body, causing him to fall to the ground. Stop! He shouted, stop! He fell to the ground coughing. Finally, the electricity calmed down. Robin, I'm going to teach you so many things. He grit his teeth, scowling at her. She just grinned and picked his body up. He's dumped into a new room, an entirely white room. There are doctors there, and they all stare at him. The woman walks to one of them, whispering something in the doctor's ear. They nod and then turn to Damian and pick him up. From there, he loses all memory of what happened. He was told things, almost like he was reprogrammed, and couldn't remember what he was told. He had no clue how long it had been since he'd been taken. It makes him sick. He couldn't really remember what the plan he had to get out was. What was he going to do again? What was there? He didn't know. No, he remembered now. The tracker. The tracker he had in his arm? Yeah, in his arm. He reaffirmed to himself. He looked up and looked around the room. Robin! His head snapped to the speaker, looking at whoever it was. The person smiled widely. Robin, you have another fight today. Today? Does that mean it's been a full day? Wasn't this not where he was meant to be? Robin! His head snapped up again. Make it showy. The person grinned widely and he just nodded, walking off with them into the same room he had some distant memory of being in. He could hear the thundering cheers from outside the room. Robin, one last thing. He turned his head to look at this person. You have to win, understand? Kill that other person. He nodded and the doors began to open. Why was he going to kill this person? But a fog clouded his mind and he forgot any protest to the idea. He had to kill to win. He had to win because he was told to win. He stepped out into the area. He had to kill to win? Tim looked carefully through all the cameras near the Wayne Manor. He had seen Damian walk out of the doors, but then he just kept walking. There didn't seem to be anything wrong. Tim knew better than that, though. These were messed with. He was going to find the real videos. It had taken him a full day and night, and with the help of his family he found the video. Yet all that left were more questions than answers. This person was blurry, possibly a meta then. This person had no features, almost like they were changing with nothing visible. Like you couldn't quite put down any exact detail. The whole family didn't quite know what to do. Clearly it was some type of meta ability, but it wasn't one that they had seen before. God, I'm sick of this! Jason punched the wall, then hisses when his knuckles burned from the impact. Jason, Tim sighed. They had been through this before. Jason would lash out, feeling frustrated by the fact that they hadn't found Damian yet, because it had now been a total of 3 days. Then he got hurt because he lashed out. I know, Tim. He sat there thinking for a bit. Then he got an idea. Talia! He shouted. Tim spun around in the chair. What do you mean, Talia? We need to call Talia. Damian spun around to the back of this man he was fighting. He was probably 30. Quickly he dove under him and then hopped on his back. In one swift motion, he snapped the other man's neck and moved to the next guy. By the end of the fight, blood surrounded the whole arena, and his own heart beating overpowered the roars of the crowd. He stumbled into the arms of the woman as he came to pick him up, then shoved himself off of her and stood. Robin, do you know why you kill? She asked. He shook his head because he truly didn't know. She cupped his cheek. You kill because that is how you survive, Robin. Do you understand? He nods mutely. Robin, do you know why you stay here, in this ring? She asks. He shakes his head no. She leans in close. Because no one else will ever love you. Understand, Robin? He nods his head again. He thinks someone else loved him once, but he can't remember them. This is wrong, he thinks. He's not meant to be here. He knows this. But no one could anticipate the rage of Taliago flinging their doors open, walking right up to Jason, and saying in Spanish, Jason Todd Algul, ¿Dónde está tu hermanito? Jason Todd Algul? Damian remembers his brother and his mother, but if they don't love him anymore, then what's the point of fighting this fate? He will fight and win until he is told to lose, because that is his purpose to fight. That is all he was made for. Alright guys, and that is the end of chapter 3 of A Personal Guide with a Lot of Shit Happening to Learn How to Be Siblings Again by Damian Wayne by Shermo 3. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you next chapter.